here in Tromso in the far north of Norway, 350 kilometers above the Arctic Circle, where, as you can see, it is still very much winter. It's the final of the ISMF World Cup Series for 2025, and the very final sprint race of the season is what's on the cards today. We were last here in 2023 when we had a full program of sprint, vertical, individual and mixed relay. This season we had 2 days ago the vertical, and tomorrow will be the final individual race of the season. Tromso, as you can see, is right by the sea. It has a population of 77,500 and is home, amongst other things, to the world's most northerly university, and somewhere you can quite regularly see absolutely stunning aurora borealis. Hasn't been much chance of that this week because it has been a bit cloudy and snowy, but as you can see, the day has dawned beautifully. And I'm Katie Friend, and I will be joined by Mireia Miro. And as I mentioned, the weather has been a little challenging this week, snowy and cloudy all week. The conditions the other day for the vertical were pretty challenging, I have to say, and we had a big snowfall overnight here in Tromso, which led to quite a lot of early morning work for the team, getting this beautiful looking sprint race ready to rock and roll for this morning's race. You can see on your screens right now, qualifying is taking place. The women have finished, that is the remaining men just finishing theirs, and we will be very soon kicking off with the heats. But as you can see, it is a little chilly, not blisteringly cold, but chilly, not much wind though, and thankfully the snow has stopped and the sun has come out just in amongst the clouds there. What does this course look like? Well, it is 70 meters of vertical, 45 followed by 15 on foot and another 10 on skins again. There's quite an interesting descent, some big bunny hops coming down that hill, and already seen a couple of falls on the qualifications, and the start is at 60 meters of vertical, so those coming from extremely high altitude will be thinking they are the fittest people on the planet. Not that we ever have to doubt that about ski mountaineers though. 109 of them on the start line today, 46 women and 63 men from 22 nations. And the sprint race, if you haven't seen us before or you haven't been with us this season, all athletes face a qualifying round on a time trial format, and the 30 best make it into 5 heats with 6 athletes in each. They complete 2 sets of diamonds where they can choose their route. A foot part, mandatory, is followed by another section on skins, and then it's downhill. The first 2 athletes from each heat and 2 lucky losers from across all the heats go to the semi-finals. There are 2 of those, and the first 2 athletes in each semi and 2 lucky losers make it to the final. The winner is the fastest athlete around the course on the final. I am joined now by Mireia Miro. Hello, Mireia. It has been a long season and we're here at the end. Let's have a look quickly before you even say hello. We popped up with the sprint rankings. Emily Harrop looks like she is unbeatable.
Yes, it looks like she's done an incredible season. And we can see that she has 600 points, which is the maximum that you can get.
Indeed, and we will be looking, I'm sure we will be getting as many of those top 20 into the heats as we go forward. The sort of note, Marianne Faton, who's the nearest to Emily Harrop, didn't get into the final last week in Villars because of a penalty, and I think that probably cost her the cup. But Emily Harrop's big challenge, I would say today, given that she has already won the overall and all the bits and pieces, is that she has to do a 7 out of 7. Let's come on to that later. Here are the men, a little bit closer in the men's competition. Ariel Cardona Call with the threat of Thibaut Selmet and John Kistler behind him Arno Lehta unfortunately missed Schladming and didn't make it through to the semi-finals last week in Villars, so is a little bit further behind. His threat has diminished, but so it's quite exciting in the men's category, I would say. It's going to be exciting all round, but a little bit more to play for, shall we say, at the top of the tree. And something quite interesting to note, Maria, in the top 20 on the start line for the men today, there are only 7 of them who are not under 23s, and only 3 of them are not from France, Switzerland or Spain. It's been quite a dominant season.
Yeah, it is. I think that both data are super interesting because it shows us that, first of all, youth are pushing very, very strong on this discipline, and then also that there are some countries that have been doing a very, very good job, but there are many countries that are starting now more recently and very soon. I'm very sure that in a few years the top 20 ranking will be plenty of other countries.
Indeed, we were talking last week, in fact, about the sort of the up-and-coming youth categories, and as you say, it is going to look very different in a couple of years to what it does now. But that is where we are at the moment. We are here in Tromso, and we are about to go to the women's race very shortly in under 4 minutes. And there are only 46, in fact, there were 46 women on the start line. We're missing Caroline Ulrich, sadly. She dislocated her thumb in Villars last week and is not racing. We do not have Deb Carollo-Marty of her compatriot from Switzerland, Kylie Toth of Canada, and Lea Ancion of Andorra. So down to 42 women, which means only 12 will not make it through to the heats, which is actually very unusual. I mean, it's not unusual for the end of the season. It's been a long, long season. But it means that we might see some people into the heats that we don't normally.
Yeah, as you say, it's been ski mountaineering seasons are very, very long. They have done many, many races because there's not only the sprint, there are other disciplines. There are the world champs, this year there were the military championships. So there's a lot of races on their legs already.
Exactly. And we're just having a look at that course. Tell me, what the fresh snow overnight, what will that mean for the conditions on this course?
Conditions look really amazing. This fresh snow looks like it's going to be a very fast track because it looks like winter conditions. If it was fresh snow but with the spring conditions, I would say very differently. But with fresh snow, the conditions can be, if they are preparing well the track, it can be a fast track because fresh snow in winter conditions, the skins glide very, very fast.
Indeed, and you can see here the crews working very hard as the first of the women's heats gets ready to come out. We will soon see a start list for this particular heat. Just to remind you, there will be 5 heats for the women, 5 for the men. And the course commentator bringing them all out one by one.
Czech Republic.
That was Anna Tibor of Poland, stepped out there. Tib Dessin of Switzerland in beside her. Anna Tibor, perhaps best known in her home country for being an enormous mountain skier. I will not even say big, but she has skied off some of the biggest faces on the planet. So this is a very different scene for her. She is a regular on the circuit, but we don't always see her this far forward. So great to see her in the heats. The young Tib Dessin is currently leading the under-23 women's overall. There is Anna Tibor, very experienced mountaineer and skier.
1 minute now to the start. We are approaching the last.
I can tell you who else is in this heat. Next to her in number 10 is Eva Matijovičová of the Czech Republic, who, there we are, we have the full lineup. I'll go through it. Emma Cook-Clark of Canada, who had the fastest time today. Tib Dessin of Switzerland, Eva Matijovičová of the Czech Republic, Jilulu of China, Anna Tibor of Poland, and Nazrin Garibova of Azerbaijan.
Seconds now to the start. Stop music, silence.
Take your mark. Set.
And we're off. It's our final sprint race of the season, and this is us kicking off now with the first of the women's heats as the young Eva Matijovicova takes a lead there, just with, that looks like Emma Cook-Clark in beside her.
Eva Matijovicova, that has been doing great starts in the sprints all the year long. She's been doing really great sprints races all the year long, but she has a very, very powerful start. Also Emma Cook-Clark also, she's amazing on the foot part, so it's a dangerous athlete to have in mind here, and they look both very, very strong.
Indeed, Eva Matijovicova is only 19 and has also been competing in the Youth World Cup. She was 9th overall in the youth category. And we talk about a long season. That's like a doubly long season.
Yes, indeed. Very, very long. It's incredible. When you say that she's only 19, it's incredible because this year we've seen her in many sprint races doing great performances. And as you say, senior sprint races and youth competitions. So what a season for her this year, being the first year competing with the senior women.
Indeed, and she and Emma Cook-Clark are away onto this foot part. I would say from this angle it's difficult to tell, but I would say Eva Matijovicova just a little bit ahead, but not looking as consistent in her steps. Emma Cook-Clark looking very, very, as I say, very consistent, very strong, using both legs equally, I would say.
Yes, but still Eva Matijovicova is handling Emma Cook-Clark really well, because Emma Cook-Clark is very, very strong on the foot parts usually, and Eva Matijovicova that puts the skills on faster than Emma Cook-Clark, and Emma Cook-Clark that sprints to not let Eva go.
And in behind them, Thibaut Dessin, as I say, current winner, or not the leader in the under-23 overall category, because they do not get podiums at each race, but they have a season category, and Thibaut Dessin of Switzerland in third behind them there. But a big, big push here, tough race between the Czech Republic and Canada.
Yes, because they are not only fighting for a good result on the sprint race, they are also making points for the Olympics. So both of them are really interested on getting a good result in this race.
Emma Cook-Clark takes off onto this beautiful looking descent ahead of the young Czech athlete. Thibaut Dessin, an equal distance behind them. They've got a jump, and then they've got these quite big bunny hops down there, which require quite a lot of flexion in the knees. I was looking at during the, here we go, yeah, see, right up. So those with a bit more experience in that will do better as they come down here at the end of the first of the women's heats. Emma Cook-Clark of Canada coming across the line to win that first heat. A great race behind her. Eva Matijovicova takes second. Thibaut Dessin, we'll have to wait and see about the lucky loser spot. An excellent start there for Canada with Emma Cook-Clark. And it is Jilulu of China into fourth, with Anna Tibor of Poland in fifth. And it was a really strong start actually from the Azerbaijani athlete. There you can talk us through this.
Yes, I think Eva Matijovicova and Emma Cook-Clark, sorry, have done a super strong race. We saw Nasrin doing from Azerbaijan doing a very good start also, and I think that she had some skin problems after the foot part. I was seeing the footage before, and she was just sleeping, like he had a problem on her skin, so I think that this is why she lost so many time at the end.
But still a great start for her. Now let's have a look. Here we are into heat number 2. Emily Harp of France looking to get her 7 out of 7. Margot Ravinel, her compatriot. Soulong Chujen of China. Rebecca Chuli of Slovakia. Eugène Lamu also of China. And Sarah Dreyer of Austria. As I said, people perhaps we might not necessarily expect to see at this stage of a sprint race with a smaller field. Sarah Dreyer, great to see her here. She's had a great season in the vertical category. And she is here again. Emily Harrop, though, the one to beat in this particular heat. Soulong Chujen of China has had an 8th place in Azerbaijan, but let's see how she can do here. This is only the first time, actually the second time that Eugène Lamu has made it through to the heats. And away they go. This is heat number 2 for the women in Tromso, the last sprint race of the season. Margot Ravinel taking an early lead there, up there with Rebecca Chuli and Emily Harrop. It is now Emily Harrop on the top, if you like, of our screens, and Rebecca Chuli right in beside her.
Well, a beautiful start from Rebecca Chuli. She has done some beautiful starts on the sprint races this year, and also some beautiful sprint races. And Emily Harrop, that as always amazing from the start, trying to lead, trying to find her feelings in this sprint race, and if possible by leading and avoiding any surprises that can come of not leading.
Indeed, Emily Harrop, quite frankly, in a league of her own this season. Comes in first ahead of Margot Ravinel and Rebecca Chuli, almost exactly the same time. But it is the 2 French women that take off a little bit quicker out of transition.
This transition was very interesting because Emily Harrop was hesitant when putting the skis on the. She lost 1-2 seconds when putting the skis on the backpack. Then Margot Ravinel was going to exit first, but then she had a problem with the pole. Everything happened so fast, but it was very interesting for me at least to see.
Indeed. And coming to the end of the season, so lots of experience gained, but also a lot of fatigue, because it's only a week since we were in Villars, and they've had to travel all the way up here to the very far north of Norway. Emily Harrop out there ahead of Margot Ravinel. And looks like Rebecca Chuli gone into 4th behind Soulong Chujen of China. And what sort of difference will it make? I mean, racing at 60 meters above sea level, this is practically the altitude not giving anybody any trouble today.
Yeah, exactly. This is it's an incredible experience. It's an incredible experience because usually the performances are better, and you don't understand why. It just you go faster, you know.
Exactly, a nice way to finish the season. And Emily Harrop takes off down first ahead of her young teammate Margot Ravinel. 2 probably in their various ways of the performances of the season. Emily Harrop goes without saying, but Margot Ravinel also had some absolutely fantastic results, and will be hoping to finish the season with yet another. Emily Harrop, looks like it's cold. That looks like cold hands being shaken out there. Emily Harrop. And waiting to see who crosses the line third, and it is Sulong Chuzhen of China. We'll see what her time brings her in terms of the lucky loser spot, because there was quite a gap between second and third in the last one as well.
2 minutes now for the start.
Yes, we had a very, very strong. So Emily Harrop and Margot Ravinel are very experienced, very strong both. Here we see the foot bar where Margot Ravinel had a little problem with the pole, but Emily Harrop before putting the skis on the backpack. But both Emily Harrop and Margot Ravinel are doing great races this season. They are a bit on a league of their own, to say so. I like this word. And they did an amazing heat, both of them.
Rattling right along. We are into the third heat already. Ivona Janušik of Poland, Giulia Murada of Italy, Ida Valdal of Norway with the home crowd behind her, Ana Alonso Rodriguez of Spain, Yujing Zhuan of China, and Anna Majerczyk of Poland. So that's the third Polish athlete we've seen in the heat so far, which is fantastic. This is going to be an interesting one. Giulia Murada, Ana Alonso, and Ivona Janušik, very experienced, but Ida Valdal certainly one to watch, and with the home crowd behind her as well. This youngster is giving us all a lot to think about this season.
Bib number 29, Q, China, bib number 36, Majerczyk, Poland. 30 seconds now to the start of the third heat.
Another great mix of nations here in heat number 3. It's not long until the start, and it looks chilly.
Silence, please. Go to the second line.
Take your mark. Set.
And it's all systems go for heat number 3, and an early lead there for Ivona Janušik of Poland, this Polish Air Force officer, with Ana Alonso in red going to the right hand side of the diamonds. And this could be an interesting one, Mireia.
Yes, it could be really interesting. I was thinking that when I was seeing them at the start, because we have Ivona Janušik with a lot of experience now leading here the sprint, and Alonso with a lot of experience too. Giulia Murada that usually does, I mean, they are not slow, but slower starts and stronger finishes of the sprint race. She has done really good results also this year. Ida Valdal now in fourth from Norway, very young and racing at her home. So I think that she really wants to do well here in these sprints.
And it is just Ana Alonso in first, ahead of Ivona Janušik and Giulia Murada, all to play for. A very fast transition there from Ivona Janušik, though, who goes out first. But it's going to be a really tight battle between these three.
Yes, and let's not discard Ida Valdal, because she's young, and I think that for sure that these three look stronger and more experienced, but Ida Valdal has done very good performances, and if there's any mistake in front, I think that she will take the opportunity.
Absolutely. She is the current under-20 European champion in the sprint. Giulia Murada in first, as you say, has picked up the pace in the second part of the race, and Alonso in behind her. And there's a bit of a gap now to Ivona Janušik as Giulia Murada powers out of that transition. Ana Alonso behind her. Ivona Janušik just got the very strong young Norwegian right on her tail.
Then there will be the last platform before the downhill.
And it's looking a bit steep. We can see it by the bend in their bodies that they is a little bit steeper on that last section. Giulia Murada coming in first, flipping in the boots, flipping back the bindings, off come the skins, boots clipped in, pulls up and away, out ahead of Ana Alonso. And Ivona Janušik just managing to eke out there ahead of Ida Valdal.
And all of them very close. I think Ana Alonso was a bit slower taking the skins off. So Giulia Murada opened a bit of gap, but Ivona Janušik just behind Ana Alonso closed a bit of a gap. So transitions are really key in sprint races.
Indeed, Giulia Murada skiing this very beautifully. One of those red flags looks a little tricky in the corner, but Giulia Murada takes the win in this heat, quickly glances behind her. Ana Alonso in third. Ivona Janušik held off the young Norwegian, who finishes fourth. De Valdal there in our number 21 on our screens. And we will see, I think that, it feels like that was quite a fast heat to me.
Preparation of the fourth heat with Marianne Faton.
Yeah, that was the fastest heat we've seen so far.
Johanna Himmer 16, Marta Garcia 13, Mariana Jagerčíková 14, and Brooke Hayes.
As Yu Xingchuan and Anna Majerčík finish this heat.
And as you were saying, it looks super cool when they arrive all. They move the hands as they have the cold finger. We've seen many athletes do that when on the arrival, on the finish line.
Yeah, because with all those transitions, you know, gloves, I assume, get wet, and then, you know, skiing fast down. But yeah, it looks like a chilly day.
And here we see the footage from this heat. As we are saying, Giulia Murada did not the best start, but did the best finish, finishing first of this heat. And here on the foot part, it's where Ana Alonso and Giulia Murada did the difference with Ivona Janušik. Ivona Janušik first in the foot part, and then third in the finish line. Giulia Murada and Ana Alonso, super good descenders, did a really great job here.
And thus far, Ivona Janušik has had one of the fastest third places, so she will be keeping her fingers crossed. But this is going to be a fast one, I suspect. Let's have a little look here. Number 4, heat number 4, Marianne Faton, world champion. Lena Bonnell of France, fourth in the rankings at the moment. Johanna Himmer of Austria, Marta Garcia Fares, extremely experienced sprinter. Mariana Jagerčíková, former European and world champion. And Brooke Haynes of the United States.
Everything is ready.
This is a big one, Mireia.
12 seconds before.
Yeah, it is.
Go to the second line.
Take your mark. Set.
He's done. Also
Heat number 4 for the women, and the beautiful backdrop of high above the Arctic Circle, and Marianne Faton takes off far ahead with Mariana Jagerčíková in behind her, Johanna Himmer. When I say in behind her, I say right beside her. And those two are rivals of old. Mariana Jagerčíková and Marianne Faton have fought many a battle together on a sprint course. In fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they have swapped world and European championship titles throughout the last about 4 years. As they come up here, Marianne Faton in red with the white helmet, Mariana Jagerčíková next to her in the distinctive uniform of Slovakia. Johanna Himmer there in fourth, just behind Lena Bonnell. Lena Bonnell is actually having a really fantastic season. She sort of slipped under our radar a little bit, Mireia, but is fourth in the rankings and looking super strong.
Yes, yes, indeed. Maybe we have been missing like a super good result. She's on some podiums too, but this, as you say, yes, she's been a bit under the radar. But when you see the rankings and you see her results and all, she's been doing a fantastic season.
Indeed. And she was actually the under-23 sprint world champion in 2019, so it's not like she's lacking in experience. But here we go. It is looking all to play for here. Marta Garcia Fares has come up very strongly. She is in the middle now between Marianne Faton on the far side and Mariana Igichikova, and that is Johanna Hiemer, who's just popped in there right in the front of our screens. And it's very close here. Mariana Igichikova slipping a little bit as she came out of transition there. Marianne Faton taking advantage with Lena Bonnel behind her and Marta Garcia Fares in step with the French woman.
Well, what a great job are Lena Bonnel and Marta Garcia Fares doing. All of them, also Johanna Hiemer, they're in fifth, but it's all very tight. Everything will be decided on this last transition and downhill because they are all very close from each other. There are no big gaps or big differences here between at least I would say the first fifth.
Indeed, Marianne Faton. Very disappointing result for her last week in Villars with a penalty. She will be hoping not to repeat that, and she is out first. Lena Bonnel behind her, Marta Garcia Fares, Mariana Igichikova. It's going to be tight for those places behind Marianne Faton. And look at them all coming down. This is the closest we've seen all morning. Johanna Hiemer just managing there, I think, to overtake
Mariana.
Yeah. And she's coming
and
into
now
third.
Yeah.
Fantastic skiing from Johanna Hiemer. Really well done to her, because that is not an easy thing to do on a sprint course.
No, not at all. Huh?
Marianne Faton, Lena Bonnel and Johanna Hiemer all within a second or so. Marta Garcia Fares and Mariana Igichikova come in behind them. Wowee, that was one of the most thrilling heats we've seen, and a fantastic job there from Johanna Hiemer on the descent. She's saying, me? Did I?
Yeah, it was incredible because they arrived very together, but when you in any case, Johanna Hiemer arrived fifth on the last transition, taking the skins off. So even if they were very together, she left fifth from the transition. So she did a great job on such a short downhill, overtaking both Mariana Igichikova and Marta Garcia, both of them super experienced athletes here on sprint races. And we see here the foot part where I would say that the foot part is where everything got tight again together, because we saw Mariana Igichikova, Marianne Faton opening a bit of gap leading from the very beginning, and then on the foot part everything got tight again, got very packed until the very end, the last transition and the downhill, where we saw the five of them very together, and where we saw here Johanna Hiemer overtake Mariana and Marta to get this third place, and Marianne Faton and Lena Bonnel. Marianne Faton, with the experience she has, she could keep the first place, but Lena Bonnel very close to her.
Indeed, and that was a very fast heat, because Johanna and Marta now have the two fastest third and fourth places, so that's been a great result for them. Heat number 5, Katia Mascherona of Italy, Tatiana Paller of Germany, Celia Peria-Pese of France, Ilaria Veronese of Italy, Maria Costa-Diez of Spain, and the independent athlete Irina Rashinskaya. And here, this should be quite an interesting one, Mireia, I would say. Celia Peria-Pese, very experienced, but perhaps not had the best second half to her season. Tatiana Paller, and very strong. Katia Mascherona having a brilliant second half to her season, and some great experience in there from the youngster Maria Costa-Diez as well.
Yes, I think that it's going to be very interesting because we have different elements.
And away they go. This is the last of the women's heats here in Tromso in the final sprint race of the 2025 season. And what an unbelievably fast start there from Maria Costa-Diez. She's we usually see quite an explosive start from her, but this is just phenomenal.
Yes, she did an incredible start, and this is I think that this heat is super interesting because Maria Costa, she's very young, but doing a very strong half of the season with very strong starts, with very strong sprints. Katia Mascherona, podium on the last sprint race. Tatiana Paller, podium on the sprint world championships. Celia Perilla-Pesset now on our on left of the screens? No, right of the screens.
In the lead now.
Exactly, in the lead now. Just in front of Maria Costa, that she hasn't had the best second half of the season, but still she's a very strong athlete, and we see that they are all together here, just arriving to the foot part. Also, Ilaria Veronese and Irina Rashizkaya.
And it is the slightly more experienced Celia Perilla-Pesset who takes off first, just ahead of her competition. And Katia Mascherona just, again, slightly taking over now. Maria Costa Diaz not looking quite as strong on the foot part as she did on her skins. Tatiana Paller in there as well. It's all in the mix, though, here on the foot part. But France, Italy, with Germany and the other Italian athlete in hot pursuit. There we are.
Ilaria Veronese that did an incredible foot part, because I think that she was 4th or 5th, and now she left second this transition.
Indeed, and absolutely powering up past Celia Perilla-Pesset. Ilaria Veronese, back this season after a bit of a nasty injury, and she's had a couple of injury-filled years, so this is a great end to her season, looking so strong here. But it's Tatiana Paller that comes in second, ahead of her, behind Celia Perilla-Pesset. Tatiana Paller very fast there in transition, and it's all to play for in this downhill, my goodness. Celia Perilla-Pesset of France, Tatiana Paller of Germany behind her. And then I think the two Italians, Ilaria Veronese and Katia Mascherona.
I think that Katia is in 3rd. I think that she left first the transition.
Oh. Celia Perilla-Pesset takes the win there at 0.2 of a second ahead of Tatiana Paller. Katia Mascherona behind her. Ilaria Veronese coming in 4th. Looking a little bit disappointed, but I think that was a great race from her there.
Yeah, she broke her pole, and I think that she looks disappointed because she broke her pole, and this, it was a difficult end to manage for her.
Yeah, a shame, but her goal was to get back and have a good season, and I think she certainly has shown that her form is back.
Yes, indeed, because we see here that she was 5th, 6th on this first part, and here on the foot part she did an incredible job, Ilaria Veronese. We had Celia Perilla-Pesset and Maria Costa leaving 1st and 2nd, but here on the foot part, again, as the previous heat, it's where things got tight again, and where the positions were moving again. And it was also a very, very tight hit and very, very fast hit. It was Celia Perilla-Pesset, very happy for her that to see her back in shape for this end of the season, in front of Tatiana Paller, Katia Mascherona, and Ilaria Veronese. That's sadly she broke a pole, but it's part of the sport. It's part of the things that can happen, and one day it happens to you, and the other day it happens to another athlete.
And what's interesting, well, Katia Mascherona, by my calculations, has the fastest 3rd place. But Johanna Himmer and Ilaria Veronese in their respective heats got exactly the same time, 3:27.7. So we will see, well, there we go. We have straight from the horse's mouth, it is Ilaria Veronese that makes it through. So perhaps not too disappointing an end after all. The two Italians make it through to the semi-finals in the lucky loser spots. How exciting for them. With the great excitement for the Team Italy last week in Villar, with Giulia Murada and Katia Mascherona taking second and third. So they will be hoping for an Italy-filled final coming up very soon. So that is the heats finished for the women. And we will be moving on very shortly to the men here in Tromso. I suspect at any minute now we will hear Christine Cavanier bringing them to the start line. And what is interesting, we were talking about the cold hands. There's a man with no gloves on, but he's obviously accustomed. But here we are, we're moving into the men's heats. Now, before we go into the men's heats, we just saw there some Swiss uniforms of Arnaud Lieta and Robin Bussard. Just to go through this first, Pablo Giner and Basile Ducouré of France. Up there with Rocco Baldini of Italy, and local to Norway anyway, Eric Carvaten, who will be racing in this first heat. I just wanted to say a little word before we start this, as I mentioned, the Swiss uniforms, that last week, unbeknownst to us, the great Ivan Arnold of Switzerland raced his last race and retired after 17
years in the Swiss team. And we'd like to say a humongous congratulations to him, two-time Sprint World champion in 2017 and 2021. And I think, Mireia, very pertinent to today's race, one of the very first athletes across all of the ski mountaineering field to specialize in the sprint, and what a huge legacy he has left behind him.
Yes, indeed, indeed, he has been a really, really great athlete. He has offered so much and given so much to sport, and especially to the sprint discipline. And it's always sad to hear that, but it's also a natural part of an athlete's life.
Indeed. So huge congratulations to Ivan Arnold on his retirement. And now on to those who are still racing.
12 seconds to the start. Go to the second line.
Take your marks. Set.
It's heat number 1 here in Tromso for the men. It's the final sprint of the season, and they're off. A very fast start there for French athlete. And I think that is Arnaud Lieta up there at the front to the right, far side of the diamonds, followed by Thomas Bussard. It is Basile Ducouré up there with Arnaud Lieta. Thomas Bussard behind, and Rocco Baldini, I think, of Italy in behind them. Rocco Baldini, who had a great race last week in Villar, but unfortunately got a penalty, so dropped right back. But the youngster from Italy looking very strong. But Arnaud Lieta, one of the greats of the discipline, looking very strong. I think missing Schladming and not progressing too far in Villar has made his chances of winning the overall title disappear, but still incredibly strong. Look at this race from Pablo Giner, though.
Yes, Pablo Giner that has made a huge comeback on this foot part again, and that he's just behind Arnaud Lieta, but Robin Bussard, Rocco Baldini, and Basile Ducouré just there, also very, very tight again.
Having a little look to see what's happening as he goes into transition. Oh, little bit slower than he would have hoped. His poles got caught behind somebody else's skis there as he takes off ahead of Pablo Giner, with Robin Bussard behind him and Rocco Baldini in fourth. Arnolieta with a nice gap there as they go over the bunny hops. And that first red gate just sends them a little bit off to their, on the edges of their skis, but it looks like a very relaxed and casual heat here as Arnolieta takes the win ahead of Pablo Giner, Robin Bussard, Rocco Baldini in fourth, in a time of 2:46. Gosh, Arnolieta did that. Basile Ducouré, after a very good start, comes in fifth. And Erik Karbatten of Norway coming in sixth.
And what a strong start and what a strong race from Arnolieta. I think that, as you were saying, the last two World Cups he didn't had a lot of very good sprint races. So I think that he is here wanting to finish with a different taste for the season. But also behind him, we have had a very, very strong battle here. Incredible race from Pablo Giner, starting more of the back and overtaking to get the second place. But also Robin Bussard that got into third, very, very close to Pablo Giner. And Rocco Baldini also doing an incredible race, trying to overtake Robin Bussard on the downhill, on the, how do you call this?
The bunny hops.
Bunny hops. So here we saw Rocco Baldini trying to overtake Robin Bussard, but he couldn't overtake him there, and it was finally Robin Bussard in third and Rocco Baldini in fourth, Basile Ducouré in fifth. Basile Ducouré that did an incredible strong start, and then Erik Karbatten in sixth.
And here we go. This is going to be a big one. Oriol Cardona-Coll currently leading the rankings. I'll get my teeth in. John Kissler, the young Swiss athlete who's had a phenomenal season. Ott Ferrer Martinez and Marc Radou-Iverne of Spain, beg your pardon. Boulouer Ruabu of China, and Max Pamet-Javira of Andorra. There we have in front of us the man to beat. Oriol Cardona-Coll, world and European champion, has won all but one of his races, in fact all but two of his races, sprint races this season.
Now to the start of the second heat, Spain, Switzerland, China and Andorra represented in this second
50 points separate Oriol Cardona-Coll and Thibaut Anselme. And not far behind them is John Kissler, so it's absolutely all to play for in today's sprint race.
12 seconds now to the start.
And we're at heat number 2 for the men's sprint race, and the Spaniards are up there very fast. It's all the red uniforms, Spain and Switzerland leading the charge, but it's John Kissler out there ahead of Marc Radua, the two youngsters leading the charge.
Yes, and Ott Ferrer just behind John Kissler, also U23, and Oriol Cardona in third, just behind Marc Radua. What a start from Marc Radua. Very, very strong. We've seen also this second half of the season, we have started to see some really great performances from Marc Radua now leading the race, but Oriol Cardona going very strong and trying to get into second position. The footpart will be again key on this heat, and it's Marc Radua in first, Oriol in second, John Kissler in third, and Ott Ferrer in fourth, trying to overtake John Kissler now.
And last week in Villar, Oriol Cardona-Coll was not on his best form, but looking much stronger this week, I beg your pardon, as he comes in first, just ahead of Marc Radua and Ott Ferrer. It's a Spanish trio at the head there, with John Kistler having slipped back to fourth, Boulouard and Max Pamet-Javila behind them.
And with Oriol Cardona, we're taking Marradua, but that was gliding a bit, slipping a bit here on this part. We have seen some athletes having some difficulties here. This part is steep, and it's the skins done a stick, thank you. Done a stick really well. And Oriol has taken the opportunity to get into first, Marradua second. Let's see now, Oriol first, Marradua second. A third, I think that it will be Ott Ferrer if he doesn't make mistakes on the change. Yes, Ott Ferrer, and fourth, John Kistler.
Back to seeing Oriol Cardona-Coll in his usual spot, first down the hill. It's Spain 1, 2, 3 at the moment. I think all being well, it should stay like that for this heat. Oriol Cardona-Coll taking it nice and steady as they come down here. No need to rush. He wins this heat. And what a heat for the Spaniards. Marc Radua in second, Ott Ferrer in third, John Kistler in fourth, Boulouard of China in fifth, and Max Pamet-Javila of Andorra comes in sixth.
This was a very, very strong heat. They've done a very fast time, so we will have to see if any of the lucky losers come from this heat. But we've seen a very, very strong start from, I would say, from all of them, but especially Marc Radua doing a very strong start. John Kistler also trying on the start, but the Spaniards here were in beast modes, and they fought really well this sprint. And Oriol Cardona, with a lot of experience, a lot of titles, he has managed so well this heat to be able to cross the line first. Marc Radua in second, amazing place for him. Ott Ferrer, that has been doing an amazing season. It's still U23, and this season he has done his first podium on senior category in a sprint race and a World Cup in third. John Kistler in fourth, that we have seen him also on his first podiums this season on the senior category, and many, many finals. So we will have to see for the lucky losers, because this was a very, very fast heat.
It was indeed. In fact, Oriol Cardona-Coll's time was 6 seconds faster than Arnaud Lieta's, but again, that depends not necessarily on those two athletes, but the athletes against whom they are competing. Now, moving on to number 3, Max Drian of Belgium, Biel Pujol-Paramon of Spain, Loic Dubois of Switzerland, his compatriots Patrick Peretin and Matteo Favre, and the Spaniard Inigo Martinez del Bornos Marquez. We did say that the top 20 ranked on today's start line were mostly from France, Spain and Switzerland, and that is what we are seeing reflected so far, mostly in these heats. Another strong showing here from those countries. Well, no Frenchmen on this lineup, but here we go. Switzerland, as we have said before, one of the leaders in the sprint discipline, and such a strong showing in the men's category this season. Max Drian, just there onto the right of our screen, whose legs we can see, black and orange, black and red. He is second in the overall ranking behind Thibaut Anselmet for the third year in a row. So he will be hoping to put in a really good performance today.
12 seconds now to the start, to the second line.
Take your mark. Set.
Such a great view there as we see the third of the heats, and it is fast. What a furious start this is, Mireia.
Yes, yes, indeed. What a start they have done. Íñigo Martínez Albornoz on the left of our screens, followed by Max Dirion and Biel Pujol-Paramon. And on the right of the screens, I think that it's Loïc Dubois leading the Swiss trio, followed by Patrick Perretin and Matteo Fabre. What a incredible start. We have seen Max Dirion and Íñigo Martínez Albornoz doing very, very strong, explosive performances this year. So I wouldn't have expected, well, maybe a bit less, maybe yes, but I think that those athletes are just incredible.
Indeed, and it is Max Dirion just in ahead of Íñigo Martínez, Biel Pujol, then the Swiss Dubois, Perretin and Favre. And Max Dirion once again showing his trail running skills as he powers up this foot part. Little slip there from Íñigo Martínez, who I seem to remember doing an absolutely extraordinary foot part here in 2023. I think it was in the mixed relay. A very, very impressive performance, I remember, stuck in my mind. But Max Dirion takes off here with a really nice, solid lead over his competitors. Maybe not. She spoke too soon.
It's Biel Pujol-Paramon who did a very, very fast. He put the skis on very, very fast, and he's now in second. Biel Pujol, that is super young. I think that his first year of U23, and followed by Íñigo Martínez Albornoz in third. That did a little bit of a slower transition, putting the skis on.
Max Dirion did not have the best start to his season. Oh, and it's taking his time to get out of transition there, but has had a very, very strong second half to his season and comes out there with the Spaniards hot on his heels. He will not want to make any mistakes here. Max Dirion represents Belgium, his dual nationality with Switzerland, and lives in the Val d'Anivier in Switzerland. As he comes down there, keeping it nice and safe, and crossing the line in first, Max Dirion of Belgium, Biel Pujol. What a great race from the youngster from Spain. Íñigo Martínez in third, and as you called them, the Swiss trio, Matteo Favre managed. Oh, Matteo Favre has gone into third. Is that what we just saw? I'm not entirely sure that's actually what we saw, but we will wait and see what actually transpires.
Exactly. Well, Max Dirion that has done a very, very strong sprint. Íñigo Martínez Albornoz here until the foot part, he was also doing very strong. And here we saw Biel Pujol here on the foot part, that maybe we wasn't seeing him that strong, but he did an incredible transition, putting the skis on, and managed to get out of the transition in second just after Max Dirion, arrived to last transition second, leave in second. An incredible performance from this youngster, because there are some very experienced athletes on this heat, as Íñigo Martínez or the Swiss Matteo Loïc and Patrick Perretin. So incredible performances. Max Dirion leading, I would say, leading from the very beginning. Biel Pujol managing really well the transitions and doing also an incredible performance, and Íñigo Martínez doing a slower transition, putting the skis on. That has cost him this third place. But let's see if he did third or fourth, because in the rival it was not clear.
Yeah, I think it was third, and that Matteo Favre did a great job coming from behind to finish fourth. Right, into this heat we have in the lineup Nikita Filipov, independent athlete, Jeremy Anselme of France, Hansing Klette of Norway, Nicolo Canclini of Italy, and the two Chinese, Zheng Zhang and Biu Jin. The two Chinese athletes on the line here. We have Zhang Chenghao, who is from Jilin province in the northeast, who used to be a cross-country skier. And Yi Yujin is from the Heilongjiang province in the northeast and also used to be a cross-country skier. Well, that was their sport of origin. As we have seen, that the attraction of the Olympics has brought people from other sports to try their hand in ski mountaineering and has widened the pool considerably. Heat number 4 for the men, and it is a very fast start for a local athlete, Hans Inge Klette. When I say local, he is from Norway, but it is the Chinese athlete there who straight out getting in front. Nikita Filipov in the blue behind him. Very strong start there. It won't necessarily be one of the fastest heats, but I feel like they're all sort of a fairly similar level. Oh, sorry, lost my vocabulary there for a minute. Nikita Filipov going into the lead there. The Yujin of China in third, Nikita Filipov in the lead, Hans Inge Klette in second. Nikita Filipov heads off very quickly in the lead. And just on nearest to us, there is one of the most experienced out there in this heat, Nicolo Canclini, coming up sort of 4th place, I would say, yes. Very fast there, and it is the experience of the Italian. Oh, a little wobble from Nicolo Canclini, but he got out there in a very fast transition. Hans Inge Klette not allowing that to go without challenge, though. Nikita Filipov ahead of Hans Inge Klette. Nicolo Canclini, and it is Jeremy Anselme that goes into third. So Filipov is currently 5th in the under-23 rankings for the men. Trail runner, and he is followed by, I think that looks like Jeremy Anselme.
Yes, he looks like.
Sounds like the course commentator said somebody just lost the pole. We shall see who that is. But what a great race from Jeremy Anselme.
Yes, he did. He did an incredible race because on the first part he wasn't in front, in fact.
Nikita Filipov takes the win ahead of Jeremy Anselme, Yujin of China, Hans Inge Klette of Norway. Nicolo Canclini is in 5th. And Zhang Changhao will be taking 6th place, I should imagine.
And we have seen a very, very strong start. Nikita Filipov, I would say that it's the surprise of this year in the sprint races. He has been doing really incredible performances. But we have seen also a very strong start from Hans Inge Klette, the Norwegian in his home. And here on the foot part again, we have seen the positions starting to change. Ernesto Canclini trying his move here. He really did. He exited second of these transitions of putting the skis on, but he was wobbling a bit, and this penalized him on this last part, to say so. And it was Jeremy Anselme who came, I won't say out of nowhere, but a bit out of nowhere to get the second position. I imagine that he has done a very strong transitions, putting the skins on and taking the skins off, and a very strong second part, and he has been able to take the second place.
Indeed, and here is big brother Anselme on the line, on the start line next. Thibaut Anselme currently leading the overall rankings, who will be hoping to hang on to that and make it hat-trick. He is up today against Finn Hirsch of Germany, Aurel Omrupert of Andorra, Andreas Meyer of Austria, Trym Dalseth-Lodoen of Norway, and Thomas Bussard of Switzerland. This is the last of the heats, and this is going to be quite an exciting one. Thibaut Anselme, who won for the first time this season in Villars, leading the rankings in terms of the overall and second in the sprint rankings at the moment. Thomas Bussard having a very successful mixed relay season. Finn Hirsch and Andy Meyer, both youngsters doing really well. And our third Norwegian athlete on the start line today, which will be going down extremely well with the local crowd, I should imagine.
We are now 12 seconds before the start. Go to the second line. Stop music.
Take your marks. Set.
The last of the heats, and it is the Andorran Aurel Olm, who's had some quite fast starts, who took off a little bit faster there, but very quickly overtaken by the newly explosive Thibaut Anselme and Finn Hirsch. Thibaut Anselme on the yellow helmet on the right far side of the screen, tucks in behind Finn Hirsch. Andy Meyer of Austria looking very strong there, just going ahead of Thibaut Anselme.
It is the first part of the second set of the diamonds.
I am so impressed, I know we've said it before, but with the change in the start explosion, for want of a better word, of Thibaut Anselme this season. He really has made such a massive, massive improvement on that. Clearly worked very hard. Very fast transition from Finn Hirsch as he takes off. A rather slower one from Andy Meyer as he goes into third. And it is Thomas Bussard in red with the blue helmet. As they come up to the final uphill transition. And here Hirsch looking very smooth, getting skis off, but struggling with that, with those toes. As Thibaut Anselme takes advantage and heads off ahead of him. But there, as you said, Maria, even Thibaut Anselme is slipping a little bit.
Yes, this part looks a bit complicated, all athletes, but at the same time it's the same for all athletes. So it's difficult to manage because it's the end of the sprint. They are very tired, and you have to be very careful, and you have to be a bit mentally fresh to manage it. But at least it's the same for everyone.
Thomas Bussard into third. Aurel Olm going back up to fourth. Trym Dalseth-Lodoen fifth. Andy Meyer slipped down to sixth.
And what a comeback from Thomas Bussard. He left third from the transition, very close to Thibaut Anselme, and it's Finn Hirsch who fell down now.
Finn Hirsch is out of the race for the moment, and he will be trying to get back in because you must never give up. But Finn Hirsch, unfortunately, just lost his place in the semi-finals with a fall there, and we haven't seen that at all. How unfortunate for him. But Finn Hirsch of Germany is out, giving Thibaut Anselme the win in this heat, and Robin Bussard gets the automatic pass into the semi-finals. Aurel Olm of Andorra, Trym Dalseth-Lodoen in fourth, Andy Meyer of Austria in 5th, and I should imagine a very disappointed Finn Hirsch after a fantastic race, leading pretty much from start to finish. What a shame.
Yes, he was doing a very, very good race, as you say, leading from the start to finish, that it's not easy. Side by side with Thibaut Anselme, who is an incredible athlete, who has many, many titles on all disciplines of ski mountaineering. So Finn Hirsch was doing an incredible, incredible job, and it's very disappointing, but it's part of the sport. And what a comeback from Thomas Boussard, because he was quite at the end on the first part of the race, and from here we see here entering into 4th, putting the skis on, and he managed not only keep or improve the position, he managed to do a super fast change, getting his skins off the skis and leaving 1.5 seconds behind Thibaut Anselme. And here is where we see Finn Hirsch fall. As we have fresh snow from this night, the conditions of the downhill are not super easy. We can see that it's not the conditions are a bit tricky, plus the gates are a bit close from one another. So the downhill, it's not the easiest downhill on a sprint race, I would say. And Thibaut Anselme that manages to get the first place, and Thomas Boussard that had done an incredible comeback in this heat in second.
The always smiling Andy Meyer there of Austria. A great start from him, but not to be this time. And I would wager, and we will probably see quite soon, that there we go, exactly. Ferrer Martinez and John Kistler of Spain and Switzerland, respectively, take the lucky loser spots in that very, very, very fast heat number 2, and they go into the semi-finals. And it has been quite a session so far, quite a morning of racing. We've had all the women's heats followed by all the men's heats. We will be going to the semi-finals within the next 10 minutes.
Nei, når man da må stå på toppen der, man bruker 2 til 3 minutter på hele løypa og må lete etter staven, da løper litt kjørt. Ja, men jeg har ikke sjans da, så det var kjedelig. Det var jo, du lå veldig bra an I starten der. Ja, fysisk kjentes det bra ut, så veldig kjedelig at noen sto på ene staven og den andre ble sparket vekk. Ja, sånn det. Det var veldig bra innsats I hvert fall I løpet her. Da får vi bare håpe at det går bedre. Du skal også være med I morgen, eller? Ja, det planen. Da blir det gøy å se deg oppe på fjellet I morgen. Jeg ønsker deg lykke til igjen.
Straight to
Ja, nå er det ikke lenge før det første semifinale hit for damene her, og så kan vi ta en liten gjennomgang av løypa igjen. Første biten løper de da 6 stykker fellesstart opp mot det grønne området her, som kalles diamanten. Der må de velge høyre eller venstre side, hvor de går sett løp oppover mot neste mediumsone, også til neste grønne. Og så løper de opp til platået der det er markert med gult. Der tar de av seg skia, legger skia opp på sekken og løper opp den bakken der, hvor de så tar skia på seg igjen og løper opp til toppen, tar av seg skia, tar av fellene og kjører ned Kallebakken over hoppet.
We're here in Tromso in the far north of Norway, 350 kilometers above the Arctic Circle, where, as you can see, winter is still holding on strong. It's the grand finale of the 2025 ISMF World Cup series, and today it's all about the final sprint race of the season. We were last here in 2023 when Tromso hosted a full program of events: sprint, vertical, individual and mixed relay. This year a little different. We had the vertical race 2 days ago, and tomorrow it's the final individual race to wrap up the season. Tromso is home to around 77,500 people, as well as the world's most northernmost university, amongst other things. And of course it is one of the best places on earth to catch the magical aurora borealis lighting up the sky. There hasn't been much chance of that in the last few days because it has been a bit cloudy. There's been fresh snow overnight, which led to a lot of work this morning to ensure that this sprint course is ready to roll in the best way possible. I'm Katie Friend. I'll be joined by Mireia Miro. And you can see, as I mentioned, it is still properly winter up here north of the Arctic Circle, where we will be hosting and seeing very shortly the semi-finals for the sprint race. Qualifications this morning went as planned. We've just had 5 heats for the women and 5 heats for the men, and only 12 remain in each category. It's a cloudy day, although there's a little sparkling of sunshine there. It's cold. We've seen chilly hands from the athletes, and as I say, fresh snow overnight. 70 meters of vertical today, 45 on skins, 15 on foot, and another 10 on skins again, starting at only 60 meters of altitude, so absolutely no challenge from any kind of altitude today. 109 athletes in the start lists. There were 4 women did not compete and 2 men, so total of 42 women and 61 men on the start line, representing 22 nations.
So goal, please, you have to go on the starting area, on the line, please, for the TV presentation.
Getting ready to roll here for the semi-finals. That will be the women's semi-finals coming up very shortly. And people still actually skiing, which is fantastic to see.
So the first one will approach the starting area to take and choose the line with Emily Harrop, Giulia Murada, Emma Cook-Clark, Margot Ravinelli, Eva Matejovicova, and Katia Mascherona.
Let me introduce my co-commentator to you, Mireia Miro. We have been by each other's side all winter. Mireia, 2-time world champion and member of the Spanish team. I was going to say hello, but let's have a look for the final time this season as to what constitutes a sprint race. All athletes face a qualifying round on the time trial format. The 30 best make it to 5 heats and 6 athletes in each of those. They complete 2 sets of diamonds where they can choose their route, although sometimes it's only one. A foot part is mandatory, followed by another section on skins, and then it's downhill. The first 2 athletes from each heat and 2 lucky losers from across all heats go to the semi-finals. There are 2 semi-finals, and the first 2 athletes in each of those, plus 2 lucky losers, make it to the final. The winner is the fastest athlete around the course. So Maria, I think we have grasped what the sprint race is all about, and we're here. It's the semi-finals for the women here in Tromso, the final one of the season. Margot Ravenel of France, Emma Cook-Clark of Canada, Emily Harrop there from France, trying to make it 7 from 7 wins. Giulia Murada of Italy. A youngster from the Czech Republic, Eva Matejovicova. And also from Italy, Katia Mascherona. This is a lineup and a half, Mireia.
Yes, what an incredible lineup we have for the last sprint of the season. Very strong athletes. They have been doing a whole incredible season, which is very long and it's very incredible.
Indeed, and the 2 in the centre there have had many a battle. Emily Harrop and Giulia Murada. There we have the top 2 on our screens. Emma Cook-Clark has really had the most phenomenal season, coming from Canada, retiring as a firefighter.
Preparation for girls. It is the first challenging semi-final. 12 seconds now to the start. Go to the second line.
Figure mark. Set.
Semi-final number 1 for the women here in Tromso is away, and we see what we quite often see, Giulia Murada leading from behind, shall we say, a little cryptically, Mireia.
Yes, exactly, but she's the one to have always in mind until the very finish line. We know that she doesn't do the fastest of starts, but she has a very strong, she's a very good sprinter and has a very strong overall effort and very good finish lines.
But in the lead at the moment, it is going to the right of the diamonds, Emma Cook-Clark. On the other side, Katia Mascherona, and in behind them, Emily Harrop, Eva Matejovicova, then Giulia Murada now into 5th. Margot Ravenel in the red helmet slipped down into 6th. Emily Harrop coming up on the far side there. And it's Emma Cook-Clark just in ahead of her. Giulia Murada already into 3rd place. Katia Mascherona, Margot Ravenel. Very quick transition there from Margot Ravenel as she gains a couple of places and starts to challenge Emma Cook-Clark. Giulia Murada, though, powering up as well. It's going to be a very, very exciting outcome.
Yes, a very tight sprint. It's also end of the season, so some athletes start. We see Emily Harrop here, maybe not leading as sometimes she has used us to see. And we have Emma Cook-Clark, Giulia Murada doing an incredible race. Also it was Margot Ravenel. Yeah, Margot Ravenel here also doing an incredible race.
Emily Harrop, lightning quick transition there, and Margot Ravenel as well to really take off into 2nd place. Emma Cook-Clark obviously having some pretty big issues with her transition there as she drops into 4th and slips on this bit that we have seen so many athletes slipping on. Eva Matejovicova also slipping, but Giulia Murada gone into 3rd. But it is Emily Harrop, Margot Ravenel and Giulia Murada 1, 2 and 3 at the moment.
What a great race from Margot Ravinel, because she fell into 6 in the diamonds, into 6 positions, and she has done with very great transitions, and now she's having a bit of problems taking off the skin. So we will have to see who exits in second, and I think that it will be Margot Ravinel, but very close from her, Giulia Murada.
Giulia Murada is third. She's gaining some ground with some problems on skins with Margot Ravinel on the higher platform.
And here comes Emily Harrop. And it is Margot Ravinel in second, Giulia Murada just gone over the jump there. France, Italy. This is the semi-final, the first of the women's semi-finals here in Tromso. And quite a spread out field here, much more spread out perhaps than we've seen in some of the heats we saw earlier. Emily Harrop looking very comfortable as she crosses the line in first in this semi-final. Margot Ravinel, a great race from the youngster. And Giulia Murada in third. She will have to wait and see. Katia Mascherona, Emma Cook-Clark and Eva Matejovicova in sixth.
And through all the morning we are seeing kind of 2 different races inside the same race, one until the foot part and another one from the foot part till the finish line, and positions are changing a lot. We have seen here on this heat when Giulia Murada and Margot Ravinel 5th and 6th of the heat, and from the foot part till the end they have finished second and third. So we are seeing 2 very different races in what I was saying, in the same track, in the same race. Emily Harrop, as always, superb, really well managed sprint, not any mistake that I've seen. Very good transitions, very smooth to be able to cross the finish line first, and we had some doubts on the foot part because everything was they were all very tight, but from the foot part till the end, second, like a different race, Emily Harrop has opened gap, has been able to cross the finish line quite, let's say, smooth. I don't think that this is the best word. And Margot Ravinel in second. Incredible performance from this youngster, U23, and Giulia Murada in third.
Indeed. Moving on to heat number 2, Célia Perrier-Pessé of France, Marianne Faton, the world champion of Switzerland, Tatiana Paller of Germany, Lena Bonnell of France, Ana Alonso Rodriguez of Spain, and Ilaria Veronese of Italy. Another extremely strong lineup here, as we have Tatiana Paller, former under-23 cycling champion, Marianne Faton, current world champion sprinter and European champion, Célia Perrier-Pessé of France, currently sitting 5th in the rankings, Ana Alonso Rodriguez, Lena Bonnell of France, and Ilaria Veronese will be delighted to be in a semi-final, back from an injury-plagued couple of years.
And we are now 12 seconds before the start. Go to the second line.
Take your mark. Set.
And away they go. It is the women's second semi-final here, and it is Lena Bonnell taking a bit of a lead there, ahead of Marianne Faton. It's not, yes it is, beg your pardon. Lena Bonnell nearest us with the black and white helmet, Marianne Faton in the red uniform and the white helmet. Behind them, nearest us in the black helmet and red uniform, is Ana Alonso Rodriguez, Tatiana Paller with the yellow sleeves, then Ilaria Veronese in the Italian blue, and Célia Perrier-Pessé in the black helmet just at the back there. Lena Bonnell goes into the lead as they come up to this first transition. Marianne Faton just behind her. Ana Alonso Rodriguez, Tatiana Paller, Célia Perrier-Pessé has taken over Ilaria Veronese to go into 5th. And Marianne Faton trying with all her might But it's a close battle there, the top three, Mireia.
Yes, very close. Lena Bonnell and Ana Alonso are doing a really great job in face of Marianne Faton, that is the actual sprint world champion, so it's a very, very strong athlete. And Lena Bonnell is still fighting for, and here it's a bit Marianne Faton passing in front, but they are all very together, and they don't have such a big difference with the second group that it's coming, the three of them just behind them. Only 2 seconds where, with this second group on the last transitions, 2 seconds that are, it's nothing. They are very easy to lose on a sprint race, and it's a lot also when you don't do mistakes.
And a slower transition there from Lena Bonnell puts her into third. Looks like Ana Alonso just eking ahead of Marianne Faton, who's broken out into a second or two of jogging, but they only need to be in the top two. Lena Bonnell struggling a little bit with that slippy section. It seems to not affect all of them, but some of them it is they are really struggling on that. Ana Alonso Rodriguez already secured her place in the Olympics in the mixed relay, comes in there ahead of the world champion, Marianne Faton. Lena Bonnell in third. Célia Perrier-Pessé of France has made great gains there and gone into fourth as Ana Alonso takes off ahead of the Swiss athlete. Ana Alonso skiing down. The nice gap between her and Marianne Faton, and it is the two French athletes that follow them, I think. Yes. Big bunny hops, lots of bendy knees required and hips in this downhill to make sure you don't fly from one to the other. Ana Alonso Rodriguez takes the win. Marianne Faton behind her. They will go to the final. Lena Bonnell in third after a great race. Célia Perrier-Pessé in fourth. Tatiana Paller in fifth. And Ilaria Veronesi in sixth.
What a great race from all of them. Very, very tight. Very until the very end. We've seen it by the times. And Marianne Faton and, well, Ana Alonso, first of all, what a race from her. But we've seen, I mean, I don't know who to talk about because it has been a great race from all of them. Marianne Faton, Ana Alonso, and Lena Bonnell that have offered us a really great battle for this first and second place, but just behind, and I was saying here very close, in here on the footpath, they were just 2 seconds behind this second group with Célia Perrier-Pessé that has entered half a second from Lena Bonnell in the finish line, Tatiana Paller and Ilaria Veronese. So it has been a very, very tight sprint from the very beginning till the very end. And Alonso doing a great, great performance in front of Marianne Faton, actual world champion on the sprint race. So a very, very strong athlete on the sprint race. And Alonso that is finishing the season very strong, both on the sprint and relay races, and that they have Ana Alonso and Marianne Faton direct access to the final, and we will have to see who are the lucky losers.
Well, by my calculations, I'm afraid the two Italians from the first semi-final are, as they say in my part of the world, out the game. And I believe it will be the two French athletes, Lena Bonnell and Célia Perrier-Pessé, who finished in, I think it was a much faster semi-final, that particular one. So we will wait and see. We will wait for the graphics gods to give us our official confirmation, but I think it will be the two French athletes from this semi-final. What is coming up next? Well, we are going to, there will be the men's semi-finals coming up in just under 2 minutes, and then it's we're going to see some big racing there. All the big favorites are in there. Winter still holding its grip on the far north of Norway here in the middle of April. 350 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle, and it looks absolutely beautiful. If you have been following any of the social media, you will see that many of the athletes came across a lot of the local wildlife while they were out wrecking the courses, and it has been absolutely quite an experience. There's been a lot of jumping in the sea, Mireia, which sounds absolutely horrifying to me, but seems to provide some great entertainment while they are preparing for these final races.
I think it's a big part of the cultural things you have to do if you go there.
Yes, indeed. And the finals, I'm sure you remember from when you were racing, there's always a sort of a different atmosphere, you know, especially it must be after such a long season, and there's just this, clearly they're still very focused, but, you know, everyone is starting to think about tomorrow afternoon and when it's all finished.
Yes, I think that one great thing is that as it is Norway and it is cold, you still feel the winter, because a final of the World Cup in April on a place that it's really warm, it's really what we were talking. It's too much holidays mood already.
Yes. And here we have confirmation that Lena Bonnell and Celia Perepese make it from the second semi-final into the final, which is going to be very, very punchy indeed. France, Spain and Switzerland will be on the lineup. Not that we're necessarily surprised by that, but that's going to be a very exciting one. But on to the men. Here we have Pablo Giner Dalmasso of France. Lining up here next to him is Arnaud Lieta. That is one of the new youngest ones, next to one of the most experienced. And talking of most experienced, here we have Oriol Cardona-Coll, Maximilien Drian du Chapois of Belgium, Marc Radio-Iverne taking us back into the youngsters. And I can tell by the knee brace, Ot Ferrer Martinez of Spain. Only Belgium here to break up the Swiss and for Swiss, French and Spanish lineup. So Oriol Cardona-Coll will be doing his absolute best to hang on to that lead he has of 50 points over Thibaut Anselmet in the sprint rankings. Max Drian will be hoping to do his best to catch up with Thibaut Anselmet in the overall rankings. So there's a lot at stake here in these semi-finals. Semi-final number one for the men here in Tromso, and it is a fast start. Max Drian being left there after a very fast start, but being pushed into fourth by Arnaud Lieta on the far side. Oriol Cardona-Coll nearest us, but making a strong comeback. My word, what a fast start.
Yeah, what a fast start. Oriol Cardona-Coll has gone into full power here. I think that he knows what is in stake. The sprint, not only the sprint World Cup win today, but also the ranking. So he has done an incredible strong start.
And two of our favorite rivals here, neck and neck, Oriol Cardona-Coll and Arnaud Lieta. Arnaud Lieta out of the running for the actual overall title, but will be hoping to get a win here today. And it's Pablo Giner has come from right at the back, and he's absolutely motoring through, as is Pablo Giner puts himself in front of Arnaud Lieta, and Max Drian goes up there alongside Oriol Cardona-Coll, and just really, and if you're giving Oriol Cardona-Coll a run for his money on the foot part, you are strong.
Incredible comeback both from Max Drian and Pablo Giner, because they were quite far behind on the, not behind, but they were 5th and 6th on the start, I think, and what a comeback from both of them here on the foot part.
Max Drian not looking as smooth as he might normally on this slippy part, but working really with, I would say, absolute brute force there to keep up with Oriol Cardona-Coll. Pablo Giner absolutely powering up there in third place. Incredible racing here. And Ot Ferrer in fourth. Arnaud Lieta slipped down into fifth. Marc Radio in sixth. Oriol Cardona-Coll out ahead of everybody.
Ot Ferrer.
Yeah, Ot Ferrer, thank you. Max Drian gone into third. Pablo Giner slipped down into second. Wow, it's all changed. I mean, it's impossible to keep up in this one.
Yeah, what a crazy end of the race. Aude Ferré entering in fourth, exiting in second. Pablo Giner entering in second, exiting in fourth. Max Rion keeping the third there. What a crazy end of the sprint.
Yeah, Max Drion has been at the back, at the front, in the middle, all over the place. But it is Oriol Cardona-Coll who takes the win in this semi-final. And his compatriot, Aude Ferré, makes a fantastic second place. Max Drion into third. Pablo Giner, after a brilliant comeback at the beginning, goes into fourth. Arnaud Lieta, after a great start, into fifth. And his racing is over for today. And Marc Radua in sixth.
What a crazy race we have had. Oriol Cardona and Arnaud Lieta starting super strong, both of them. Pablo Giner and Max Rion a bit behind, we see here, fifth and sixth. And then a comeback on the foot par from Max Rion and Pablo Giner in second and third. Aude Ferré fourth. They arrive on the last change before taking the skis off. Oriol in first, Pablo Giner in second, Max Rion in third, Aude Ferré in fourth. And they exited that change. Oriol is still in first, but then Aude Ferré in second, Max Rion in third, and Pablo Giner in fourth. I don't know if you follow me until here, but it was quite crazy, all the race.
It was crazy. Saw there, just in that close-up, Max Drion had a bit of trouble with his bindings, it looked like, in that last transition at the top there. Could not manage to flip that the little platform that sits on the bindings to keep the heels from clipping in. He didn't seem to be able to get that back. Wow, that was exciting. I suspect we're going to have equal excitement here as we go into the second semi-final. As we just take a moment to appreciate this view. I mean, unbelievable, how extraordinary, what an absolute privilege to be so far north of the Arctic Circle. Really extraordinary. And what a view from this race course here in Tromso as we wait for the second of the men's semi-finals. On the line here, Jérémy Anselmet of France. Anselmet the junior. Biel Pujol Paramon of Spain. Both under 23s. Anselmet senior, fighting for many points today to keep him on top. Nikita Filipov, independent athlete. Thomas Bussard of Switzerland, and his compatriot John Kissler. I would say, with the exception of Thibaut Anselmet, that's an entirely under 23 lineup. Yes, look at that. Thibaut Anselmet looking very much like the elder statesman of this particular lineup. So we shall see, because obviously we know how successful he is, how experienced he is, but that is a lot of youth power chasing him down. And they're off. It's the second of the men's semi-finals. Almost entirely populated, as we say, by under 23s. Nikita Filipov making an absolutely blistering start there as he comes to the left of the diamonds in blue. Behind him, Thomas Bussard and John Kissler. On the far side, Biel Paramon, Thibaut Anselmet, and Jérémy Anselmet behind him.
With the sixth fighting for the last position on this season, last sprint race.
John Kissler making a bit of a blast there between Nikita Filipov and Biel Pujol as they come into the first transition.
Beautiful diamond spar for John Kissler. That he was quite behind between the diamond section. He overtook Thomas Bussard, and then he managed also to getting to the second position now on the foot bar. We will see, because they are, again, all very tight, all very close together. Thibaut Selmain third, that it's a dangerous athlete, and we will have to see the second part of the sprint, how the positions move.
John Kissler, the youngster from Zurich, 21 years old. His goal this year was to reach a World Cup podium, which he did in Bormio on the test event, coming in second. He has had, and also in Villars and in Schladming. So not once, but not twice, but 3 times on the podium. 4 times, including the World Championships. Wowee, and look at him go. He has taken the lead ahead of Thibaut Anselme, Nikita Filipov in 4th, but with Thomas Bussard absolutely hot on his heels. John Kissler is the youth relay world champion from 21 and 23. In here as a lucky loser and taking off really, really smoothly ahead of Thibaut Anselme, and that was Thomas Bussard, I believe, after them. John Kissler, what a race from this young man.
Yes, what a race, very beautiful and well handled. And Thomas Bussard, he has done the same on the previous round. He has done an amazing transition, taking the skins off, and he's very, very close to Thibaut Anselme.
John Kissler just holding Thibaut Anselme at bay, having a quick look, but they only have to be 1 and 2. Nicely done. John Kissler takes the win for Switzerland. Thibaut Anselme behind him. Thomas Bussard of Switzerland in 3rd. Nikita Filipov in 4th. Biel Pujol in 5th. And Jeremy Anselme, with a little bit of a resigned shrug there, comes in 6th.
What a beautiful hit we have had with all these youngsters. We have to remind that youth have a lot of power, have a lot of motivation, but sometimes they lack a bit of experience. So it's a really good, I think that for all of them, it's a really good milestone already. It's an incredible milestone already to be here on the semi-final. And we've seen a Nikita Filipov with a very, very strong start. He's doing great performances in all the sprint races. And John Kissler, that has managed the race so well, starting from behind, overtaking, and managing to finish in 1st, Thibaut Anselme in 2nd, and in 3rd it has been Thomas Bussard. Really beautiful race from John Kissler. Let's see what the finals have for them.
You're impressed?
Yeah, I'm really impressed. Really.
Indeed, and it was
so we have also the situation
actually a slower race than the first one, but I think Thomas Bussard may go through as the lucky loser, and Nikita Filipov and Pablo Giner in their respective, there we go, it's Max Trion and Thomas Bussard going through to the final, one from each semi-final, so the 3rd place in each one. That makes perfect sense. I was about to make do some very bad sums there, so luckily, as I say, the graphics gods have rescued me from my terrible abilities to tell time, and we will be going to the final pretty soon. Here we have the warm-up for the women's final. Ana Alonso Rodriguez there of Spain. And it is an almost entirely French lineup, broken only by 1 Swiss and 1 Spaniard. The French women, though, really are absolutely on fire. It is there's such a depth of experience, isn't there now, Mireia, within that French female team?
Yes, and I think that it's also dynamic when you have a strong and consolidated and cohesive team. it just elevates the youth that are also arriving. So we see Margot Ravinel here with 23, but Emily Harrop, Lena Bonnell or Celia Perilla with more veterans, with more experience. So I think that the team ambience is very important for this, to see these situations, to have 4 French athletes on the final. This usually doesn't, out of 6 places, this usually doesn't happen if there's not a really good ambience also between them that elevate each other.
Exactly, and we've said before how supportive they all are of each other, and I think, as you say, especially having, for want of a better word, a leader in Emily Harrop who just doesn't put a foot wrong, races well, is, you know, so supportive of her of all her teammates, but especially her female teammates. It really must be super encouraging for them. Interestingly, out of the 6 racing today, 5 of them, it's the top 5 in the sprint rankings, plus Margot Ravinel. So it absolutely is pretty much the best of the season into this final. Good humour there from Emily Harrop. She has already won the overall title. She is more than likely to win the sprint title, and I think her biggest challenge today, as I've said, is to get the 7 out of 7 wins. Emily Harrop of France, Ana Alonso Rodriguez of Spain, Margot Ravinel of France, Marianne Faton of Switzerland, and Celia Perilla-Pesset and Lena Bonnell, also of France. Marianne Faton, the European and world champion. Margot Ravinel, first at the FISU International, the FISU University Games this year. Emily Harrop, just quite frankly the queen of SkiMo these days. And Ana Alonso Rodriguez had a fantastic all-round season, really. Ana Alonso Rodriguez. Lena Bonnell sitting 4th in the sprint category, and Celia Perilla-Pesset not having had a particularly great second half to her season, but brilliant to see her back in a sprint final.
Is a fantastic landscape in Tromso, Norway. 30 seconds now to the start of the great final for women. Everything is done. Everything is ready. We're now 12 seconds to the start. Go to the second line.
And it's the women's final here. It is the final race of the season for the sprint category for the women, and they are neck and neck at the top there. Marianne Faton in the white helmet, Margot Ravinel in red, Emily Harrop going left of the diamonds. In behind her, Lena Bonnell, Ana Alonso Rodriguez, and Celia Perilla-Pesset. And these are the 2 we might have expected to see at the front here. It's all to play for. Marianne Faton has not managed to beat Emily Harrop this season in the sprint race, apart from at the World Championships, obviously. How is it going to go, Mireia?
So I think that so Emily Harrop looks super strong, and she has looked super strong all the season. But if someone can beat her, as we have seen, it's Marianne Faton for sure. There are other athletes that maybe can beat her, but the one that seems best positioned is Marianne Faton. And Margot Ravinel just behind. She has done an impressive start, and she's been doing an impressive day-to-day, also very close to them.
Indeed, a very, very fast transition from Emily Harrop there, as Marianne Faton takes off behind her. Margot Ravinel has quite liked the left-hand side of this boot pack in her races today. I noticed earlier she was very far to the left in the softer, less packed in snow. Emily Harrop, just extraordinary performances all round from her this season. She's just gone from strength to strength, has already won the overall title for the 4th year in a row, and has quite frankly put a good old gap between herself and Marianne Faton now.
Yes, I mean, in a sprint race, you cannot talk until the finish line, but if Emily Harrop doesn't do any mistake, like more or less big mistake, it seems that she has everything really on her favor to take the win, because the gap with Marianne Faton, it's important.
It is quite significant indeed. It's going to be a good sort of 6, 8, nearly 9 seconds. Unbelievable. And Emily Harrop takes off before Marianne Faton even gets her skins off. And in they go, second, and she's out. Margot Ravenel having a little bit of trouble getting past Anna Alonso there. And Emily Harrop away in her own league. I was about to say in a world of her own, but that's not quite right. And she is off down there. Just got to stay safe in this now looking quite scratchy downhill. Margot Ravenel very much trying to force an error out of Marianne Faton as they come down. And I suspect breaking all sorts of records, Emily Harrop takes the win and makes it 7 World Cup sprint wins out of 7. What an extraordinary season this French woman has had, as she congratulates her teammate Margot Ravenel having another podium as an under-23. Marianne Faton was in second, Anna Alonso takes fourth, Celia Peria-Pessé and Lena Bonnell bring up the remaining final. And there, that is 2 of the greatest sprinters we've known congratulating each other.
What a beautiful final we have had. Emily Harrop is in incredible shape, and she's an amazing athlete on the sprint races. She's been leading the whole World Cup with 7 wins out of 7. And Marianne Faton, also incredible season for her, trying to battle until the very end, but Emily Harrop was better today. She opened a big gap here for the first place. And Margot Ravenel, what to say, U23 youth podium in between this field with Celia Peria-Pessé and Alonso or Lena Bonnell, that are also very, very strong and experienced athletes.
Absolutely, and Emily Harrop takes the win today, does the 7 out of 7 and wins the sprint title for the season, up there with the vertical title, which she took on Wednesday, on Thursday, and wow, what an extraordinary season for her. But as you say, Margot Ravenel, look how close she was there, just right behind Marianne Faton. Margot Ravenel taking her first ever podium place this year, earlier in the year in Courchevel, right at the beginning, and finishing with another one. What poetic justice for the young French woman. Marianne Faton will have to just be happy with the World Championship title and a second place today. And congratulations to all of the women in that final. Wow, how exciting. Absolutely brilliant. Marianne Faton, I largely suspect, will hang on to her second place in the rankings as well.
In a while we will have the podium ceremony with Emily Harrop, Marianne Faton and Margot Ravenel. Okay, ready to go for the podium ceremony, then we will have the interview. And then we will move to the men race that will start at 11:47. Everything is here, perfect. And so we can start. Third place, representing France, troisième place pour la France, Margot Ravenel.
Margot Ravenel once more on the senior podium, absolutely delighted with herself.
Second place, representing Switzerland, Marianne Faton. The World Championships of this season, winning the gold medal in Morjan.
World champion Marianne Faton takes second today, second overall in the rankings.
From France,
Emily Harrop, absolutely the queen of the sprint, 7 out of 7. What an exceptional, exceptional season this French athlete has had. The only person to have beaten her this year is on her right, Marianne Faton, but Emily Harrop really is the queen of the sprint, as well as the queen of the vertical. Unbelievable. What a season for Emily Harrop. And we will hear from her very shortly with Christine Cavigny, the course commentator. Just getting her mic'd up so that we can hear her too.
Emily Harrop, another great victory for this last sprint race of the season. You took all the 7 races in this season, all winning. So what to do, what to tell? It was amazing to close such a long season and tough season here in Norway with fantastic landscapes. What to add?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I'm just like so proud and happy with this season because, you know, to stay on top like for all the races, I understand that it's not easy, it's not a given, and you have to stay, you know, concentrated and ready each one. So I'm super proud of this season, and yeah, to finish here in Norway, it's a place that everyone I think has in their hearts and loves coming here. We're really lucky with the weather today, with the sun is out, and yeah, it's such a pleasure.
So you know that now the last part will be the jump in the sea.
Yeah, exactly. That has been on the plan since the beginning. I've seen that a lot of athletes have already done it, and I'm one of the scaredy cats who kind of waits till the end. So yeah, that will be on the program.
Perfect. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you.
I'm not surprised. I would also be putting that off as a bit of a scaredy cat, but I imagine she will be in the individual race tomorrow. But for the moment, Emily Harrop takes the win once again.
To the last final 4 men, so we call the top 6 men on the starting area to take then the start. It will be at 11:30, 11:47. With Oriol Cardona, Jon Kistler, Thibaut Anselmet, Ott Ferrer, Max Drion and Thomas Bussard.
Here we have it, the final, the last sprint race of the 2025 season. And what a lineup. Oriol Cardona Call will be hoping to make it another win. Jon Kistler, the youngster, very, very strong this season. Ott Ferrer Martinez of Spain, Thibaut Anselmet of France, Max Drion of Belgium, and Thomas Bussard of Switzerland. Belgium breaking up the old Spanish, French, and Swiss lineup as the last preparations are underway. No marginal gain is too much to take advantage of. Snow brushed off boots. Skis ready, skins ready.
will be challenging.
You can see how chilly it is because they're all still in their jackets right up to the very last minute, keeping themselves warm.
And we will have the first entering our leader of the ranking, Oriol Cardona, Spain. And then Jon Kissler, Switzerland, an amazing season for the young Swiss. Thibaut Anselmet for France. Ott Ferrer, bib number 5 for Spain. Bib number 8, Max Drion from Belgium. And then bib number 15, Thomas Bissard, Switzerland.
Here we are, athletes coming to the line.
Here we are, the preparation on the lines.
There. So from the far left, Max Drion of Belgium, Thibaut Anselmet in the yellow helmet, Oriol Cardona call. Here we are, we're going to see them.
And then bib number 5, it for Spain, Ott Ferrer, bib number 15, Thomas Bissard, bib number
Thibaut
8,
Anselmet of France,
Max Drion,
hoping to
who's currently the second place in the ranking,
get
in the
a bit of
overall
a
ranking.
jump on Oriol Cardona call for the sprint title. But that will be a tough one. Oriol Cardona call, world and European champion Jon Kissler, whose single goal was to get on the podium this winter, and he has done that in spades. Ott Ferrer and Thomas Bissard.
We are now approaching the start of this great final for men. We will have as well podium and interview, and then we will go with the flower ceremony and of the awarding ceremony. 1 minute now to the start.
Here we are, Christine Cavigny giving us our rundown for the next little while. Men's final podium ceremony, followed by interview with whoever wins, and then we will be finishing out the program. But first, this very, very, very exciting final.
We are now 30 seconds before the start. Everything is ready. The procedure, last 12 seconds to the start, we go to the second line.
Take your mark.
And the start!
The men's final is underway. This is the last sprint race of the 2025 season, and Oriol Cardona call has absolutely fired out of the starting line, ahead of Max Drion and Thibaut Anselmet. This is an unbelievably fast race.
What a start from Oriol, very, very strong from the very beginning. His intentions are clear. He wants to win this sprint race, not only the title of the Sprint World Cup. And today we have seen already some really good rounds from Oriol, looking very, very strong. And Max Drion in second, also doing a very great day today. And Thibaut Anselmet in third.
Oh, and Oriol Cardona call has had a bit of a shocker with his skis there, and loses a lot of time as Thibaut Anselmet takes off first, followed by Max Drion, and Oriol Cardona call is going to have to absolutely put in a bit of an effort here, because he has dropped to fifth almost.
Any little mistake here can cost you a lot, because the sprint races are so fast, so dynamic, so explosive, that any little mistake can cost you a lot. But Oriol is a really experienced athlete, very, very strong, and we see him already entering in third into this transition.
And this is where you cannot let it get to you, and he hasn't, because he came out of there in record time. That was extraordinary. From that error, he's gone into first. Jon Kissler of Switzerland in second. Max Drion was in third, but overtaken now by Thomas Bissard as he starts to slow quite considerably Max Drion into fourth position.
and Thibaut Selmé in 5th. He was doing a great race here until the foot bar, and I don't know if something happened to him on the transition or that he's feeling a bit tired, but he lost quite a lot of seconds there.
He did, and it is now going to be a battle for 2nd and 3rd between the two Swiss athletes, the two under-23s, as Oriol Cardona-Coll heads off down the last descent of the sprint season with Thomas Bussard behind him and John Kissler in 3rd. This is not the first time today, Maria, we've seen a complete mash of what we thought might happen and something completely different.
Yes, because Max Drion and Thibaut Selmé were doing such a strong race. They were 2nd and 3rd when Oriol had the problem, 1st and 2nd, and now they are 4th and 5th.
Oriol Cardona-Coll takes the final win. Thomas Bussard absolutely thrilled with his 2nd place. John Kissler, his compatriot, in 3rd. Max Drion in 4th. And a very surprising, I think, going to be Thibaut Selmé in 5th. We may see in the replay what happened, but Oriol Cardona-Coll makes it another win for the season. There are only 2 races, sprint races this season where he hasn't been first, and in both of those occasions he wasn't even in the final. So there we go. In every final he's been in, he's won it. Oriol Cardona-Coll wins, and I suspect that means, of course, that he will have won the overall sprint title. A fantastic race there, really exciting.
Yes, what a great race from Oriol. Starting very, very strong. He had the problem on the transition, putting the skis on the backpack, but this didn't let him down. He just got some extra power from that and was able to secure the 1st place again. And behind him, we have had a great, great battle again, because we had here on the foot bar Thibaut Selmé and Max Drion in 1st and 2nd, but finally it was Oriol who took 1st, and Thomas Bussard and John Kissler 2nd and 3rd. I don't know what happened here to Thibaut Selmé putting the skis back on. He lost quite a bit of time, and this made that Thibaut Selmé was finally 5th and Oriol Ferré, and 6th.
And great racing from the 2 young Swiss athletes there, Thomas Bussard and John Kissler, 2nd and 3rd. Look at that, fantastic. Thomas Bussard has won a couple of mixed relays this season and is now 2nd place on the sprint race. That is his highest, having started Courchevel in 51st place back in December in the sprint, to 2nd step of the podium. How fantastic for him. John Kissler just proving that he is going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with in the future of men's sprinting. Oriol Cardona-Coll takes the win ahead of Thomas Bussard and John Kissler of Switzerland. Max Drion of Belgium goes to 4th. Thibaut Selmé in 5th. Ott Ferrer-Martinez in 6th. What this will mean for the sprint ranking is that Oriol Cardona-Coll will take the title. The rest of it, we will have to wait for somebody with better sums than me. But Thibaut Selmé may just have lost his 2nd place to John Kissler. We will have to wait and see. In terms of the overall World Cup title, Thibaut Selmé had 150 points between himself and 2nd place Max Drion. Neither of them took the full whack there, as it were, the full points. So again, we'll have to wait and see, but I suspect that will keep Thibaut Selmé in 1st place.
Please stay here. So please stay here. the first. We have to wait for the results and then to have the podium ceremony. The interview, flower, and the top 5 awarding ceremony.
Interestingly, Maria, I have just looked at the timings, and Oriol Cardona-Coll had a 10-second penalty. And from my timings sheet, it looks like Thomas Bussard takes the win, John Kissler in second, and Max Trion in third, pushing Oriol Cardona-Coll down to fourth. So that is a bit of a turn up for the books. This is unofficial. Please don't take this as read. This is provisional.
Okay, here we are in Tromso for the last sprint race of the season. We have to wait for the final results. As you know, we have the VAR system, so they are just checking if everything is correct in the final and if there are some penalties. So waiting to have the podium interview, flowers and awarding ceremony. In a few minutes we will have everything and we will go on.
Thank you very much to Christine Cavagnier, and she is letting us know what we are suspecting that there is going to be. There we are, the final results after a 10-second penalty for Oriol Cardona-Coll, for which we do not know why. Thomas Bussard takes the win, John Kissler in second, Max Rion of Belgium in third, Oriol Cardona-Coll slips to fourth, Thibaut Anselme in fifth, and Ferrer Martinez in sixth. What a result there, Mireia.
Yes, totally unexpected, and what a surprise for Thomas Bussard and John Kissler also, both very young and super unexpected.
Indeed. In fact, John Kissler, having had his wish granted 5 times now to be on the podium in a Senior World Cup final. You only wanted one, he's got 5. Thomas Bussard has only been in 3 finals this season. Well, this was his 4th, and no higher than 5th place. So that is a fantastic result for him. He has, of course, had a couple of relay wins alongside Caroline Ulrich.
We can start in a while with the flower ceremony for the top 3. The podium ceremony for the top 3, then we will have the interview of the winner, and then we will have the flower and the top 5 awarding ceremony. So in the final, the first one crossing the finishing line was Oriol Cardona, but because of a penalty of 10 seconds, now he finished 4th, and so we have to go with the podium now, with the official results. And so here we are with the 3rd place, representing Belgium, Maximilien Trion du Chapois.
Max Trion of Belgium suddenly getting an extra 81 points onto his overall scores. John Kissler of Switzerland.
An unexpected victory, 1st place, the winner of the last sprint of the season for Switzerland, Thomas Bussard.
Thomas Bussard. Unbelievably excited to be the winner today.
I think because last season we had his twin, Robin Bussard, winning in Villars. And here we are waiting for the interview with the winner, and then we will go with the flower and with the top 5 official awarding ceremonies. Smile, a great smile from the face of Max, Jon and Thomas for this great podium of the last sprint race in this season, a long season. 7th races in the season.
Really great result there for these 3. Very unfortunate set of circumstances for Oriol Cardona-Coll. But I think he will still, who knows what's going to happen with those rankings. Let's see, we will see, we shan't guess.
Bussard, what a day here in Tromso. Last sprint of the season, a great victory for you. The first individual victory of your career. Did you expect all this?
Absolutely not. To be honest, I was so happy to finish second. Yes, my last podium in a sprint was in 2022 in Val Thorens, so I waited so long to be back on the podium. And to be honest, I'm a bit speechless because, yeah, just to be second on the line was incredible. And yes, 5 minutes later, I learned that I win. I'm sorry for all who got a penalty, but yes, a win is a win, so I take it.
So great success also for whole the Swiss team, also with the podium of Marianne and the podium of Jon Kistler. A great job during all the season for the teams.
Yeah, it's so tough to be in the Swiss team in sprint, you know. We are 6-7 people who can have a ticket for the Olympics, so yes, to be honest, it was really tough this season to fight for each race, each sprint, to give my best, to go to chase my dream to be at the Olympics. So it's not done yet, but just a win proved that I can be fast, and I'm really, really proud of it.
Perfect, congratulations, good job.
Thank you.
Thomas Bussard takes the win in the men's sprint after an awesome day of sprint racing here in Tromso. If my calculations are right, Oriol Cardona-Cole still keeps the overall win. Jon Kistler goes into second and Thibaut Anselme into third. But here we are, the Women's World Cup rankings. First, Emily Harrop takes the overall win in the sprint category. Marianne Faton behind her, Ana Alonso Rodriguez in third, Célia Pierre-Pessé and Lena Bonnell of France in fourth and fifth. They switch positions. Tatiana Paller, Julia Morada, Margot Ravinel, Eva Matijovicova make up the top 9 there, and that is a fantastic result for Emily Harrop. And as we go to the men's, we will see what that did. Indeed, it switched Jon Kistler and Thibaut Anselme. Oriol Cardona-Cole keeps the win, even despite losing today the lead. Jon Kistler, in his very first season as, not his first season, but in with his goal, goes to second in the sprint ranking. Thibaut Anselme in third, Arnaud Lieta, Ott Ferrer-Martinez, Robin Bussard, Inigo Martinez, Max Dion, Nikita Filipov, and Thomas Bussard pops himself up into that top 10 with his brother with that win there, pushing Biel Pujol down into 11th. But really, what an enormously exciting season of sprint racing we have had, Mireia.
Yes, what a season! Every race has been super exciting. The sprint, the level in the sprint is increasing, and we are enjoying it.
So that wraps up an epic day of sprint racing here in Tromso, and for the 2025 season, Robin Bussard and Emily Harrop take the victories for Switzerland and France. Thank you so much for joining us. The World Cup season finale is tomorrow, and it's the individual race here in Tromso. Until then, from Mireia and myself, bye-bye.